Welcome to the Black Male Impact. Today we have as guest Dr. Mark Bowen. Dr. Bowen, welcome to the Black Male Impact.
Thank you for having me.
Man, it is a pleasure having you here on the Black Male Impact. But before we get into the conversation today, I just want those who are here with us to please share this with your connection. I know there will be things shared here that will be beneficial not only to you, but also to the people who are connected to you. But before we get into the conversation itself, I just want to share just a little bit about Dr. Bowen. He's an educator, he's also a mentor and a motivational speaker. And he has been working with students for a long time, which I'll give him the opportunity to share more about himself before we get into the conversation today. Dr. Bowen, the floor is yours.
So I've been an educator for more than 15 years now. I've worked in K to 12 in Jamaica, and also I've did some work in Cleveland, Mississippi. I also work in higher education at an HBCU. And education is me. That's what I do. Education.
Man, and it's important, especially for us as black men to be in that space, not only to teach what we learn or what we have experienced, but it also set a positive example, for young men who see us in those spaces. And because there are not a lot of us in the education space, because sometimes you have heard the statistics, or you may have heard the statistics, where it's only 2% of black men who are in education. But I just want to say this for those who are here before we get into the conversation today. And I didn't say my name. For those who are here for the first time, my name is Dr. Richard A. Cross, and I'm the founder of the Black Male Impact. But I must say this as black men, we must rise to the occasion. Throughout history, black men have carried immense strength, resilience, and brilliance. That is something that we are aware of, but sometimes we don't show up as we are capable of because of whatever reason. But we have what it takes to make the difference that is needed, and we can lead where it is needed for us to lead. So, as we're here to have this conversation, which is about um, beyond thinking beyond limits. And as Dr. Bowen shared that he started his journey in Jamaica. That's where I start myself. I'm also from Jamaica, and I've been in education maybe a little bit less than Dr. Bowen, but it's a space that we are needed as black men. So I want to kick off the questions with this: what limited beliefs were you taught growing up that you had to unlearn before you become who you are today?
So in Jamaica, there's a saying that there's nothing good can come out of the ghetto or the inner city. And because I am a product of the inner city, I had to change that belief.
Well, and I'm glad you say that because a lot of people who grew up in challenging situations sometimes succumb to those challenging situations. But as you have said that you had to unlearn the belief, being that they have told you or make it a blanket statement that people from the ghetto don't amount to anything. So, what actually give you that drive, that belief, even though you have heard that many times that people from the ghetto don't amount to anything? What give you that drive?
So what gave me that drive is that although I was in the ghetto, I had some friends that were from the better side of the fence. And
Okay.
also within the ghetto or the inner city, there was individuals that went to traditional high school, that went to college. And because of my upbringing, I get to have a conversation with them and I can go to their houses, and they have a lot of books, and their parents was different, and
Okay.
they travel a lot, because not everybody who live in the ghetto or the inner city is poor.
Okay.
They're not rich, but they're comfortable. So they're exposed to different things, and their thinking was different. So I associate myself with them. And because the way my mother raised me, it was easy for me to fit in with them because I wasn't disrespectful.
And
And
you
that,
know, and I,
and that because I associate with them, and there are people, older persons that were teachers and social workers that was living in the inner city with me, and they went to the same church as me, so I saw them. So seeing is believing, and because of that believing, I had to change my total what people been saying about ghetto and inner city. Like, nah, there's more beyond that.
and you have shared a few important things that we all need to, especially share with the youth, the younger generation, as you talk about association and being exposed to a different possibility. You know, we have to, at times, bring to the young people what is possible. Let them see through us what is possible. And also, you talk about association. I remember hearing that, the people you surround yourself with will be who influence you. So if you're influenced by those who you are surrounded by, you want to choose people who will influence you in the right way, or motivate you, or encourage you to be better, not worse. So those are really important reminders, not just for youth, but even for us as adults. So that leads me to my next question. And feel free to jump in and share, your thoughts, even whilst because I'm paying attention to you. But next question: can you share a moment when you realized society had placed a ceiling on your potential and how you broke through it?
So I can see it when now looking back, I can see it vividly clear. It when I had this thought or belief that I wanted to be an educator. I have this desire of being an educator. But when I tell individuals at my high school and some individuals that are in the same surrounding that I live in, and they will say, I don't have good grades. And because I am from a low social economic background, my parent wouldn't able to afford to send me to college. So they're actually predicting my present and dictating my future. But I didn't subscribe to that. So I went to teachers college, and I did taught, and I because I don't believe in certain things.
Okay,
If you tell me, I think I was living in Missouri while I was living in Jamaica. You have to show me.
that's
No,
right.
I don't subscribe to certain things, and because of that, and I have help, and the people in my community look up to me, and they support me, and they believe in me. So I didn't. So that was, and then who I associate myself when I went to GC Foster College.
Okay.
So I was able to fulfill that dream, believe in the dream, and then still attain the dream because I believe and I don't subscribe to limitations.
Well, and that's also a great reminder because, we're all going to face adversities. We're all going to meet people who don't believe in us based on where we are in on our journey. And if we take on the belief or beliefs of others, we are only going to limit ourselves. But you had shared earlier that, your parents didn't have the financial wherewithal to send you to college, but you find a way, or people help you. What was that like? Was it because of you being respectful, or just because you have shown the desire to be an educator? The people in the community who have helped you eventually helped you to fulfill that desire.
So it's all start with my mother, because I lose my father at a tender age.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I lose my father at a tender age. So my mother used to, she used to sell items on the street, and then she would be having confrontation with the police,
Oh, wow.
try to take away her goods and stuff like that. But my mother had a lot of skills because she's also a dressmaker.
Okay.
You get things from Amazon now and stuff. My mother used to make things in the house and sell it.
Okay.
And then we had this, I don't know in America what they call it. They had partners that everybody put in, and at a certain times, at the end of the month, somebody else will get a withdrawal.
Yeah.
And then because the lady that is in charge of the savings, she know that I was going to college, or when I was going to high school, she would give my mother the first hand.
Oh, wow.
So that was able for me to. It's African stuff, but I don't know the right name. But they call it partner in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So because of that, I was able to go to college. And when I went to college, I also got help by the guidance counselor at GC Foster at that time. There was some funds allotted for individual with having hard times, and I spoke to the guidance counselor, and the teachers always talk about good things about me, so it wasn't hard for her to help me, and my also other individuals that live in the community would buy me uniform, buy me books. Miss Merle would buy me books, buy me a uniform, pants and stuff. So that was the way how I able to get get through college with finances, because I want it first, and because they know that I want it. And I was very respectful, because respect goes a long way. And if you're humble and you're willing to work hard, somebody will help you. That's how I
And,
mean it.
and that's great reminder, especially to our youth today, the importance of respect. When I was growing up, they always said manners take you through this world without a penny. So if you don't have the resources, just by being respectful, just by being the person who not just follow orders, but show people that you are respectful, not just to them, but even to yourself. They will help you when you need the help. But if you're disrespectful or you don't have manners, you can't go to anyone to ask for help, especially if you have are dealing with hardship. So in that moment, you know, achieving what you want, going through college, but did you have to ask for the help, especially at college? Being that they had the funds, did you have to ask for it, or it was, given to those who um, seems to have hardship?
No, I actually had a conversation with the guidance counselor, because although I was living in the inner city, if I don't tell you I'm from the inner city, you don't know. But
Okay,
oftentimes I will say I'm from the inner city, because the people who I associate myself with, they're from the rural area, and some of them had money, or
okay,
had older siblings that were teachers, so life wasn't as hard on them like other individuals going to college. So you see me at college, you don't know where I'm from, you're looking from me from head to toe. You can't say I'm struggling,
okay,
because I don't look like I'm struggling. I don't look overly rich, but I don't look like I'm struggling.
okay. And you see, the name that we wanted to find for the partner in Jamaica, as Lawrence Dell here pointed out, it is called Susu, and is the African version for Jamaican partner. So, I know they may have a different name for it here in America, but so I thank you for that, to bring that to our knowledge. But, that's where maybe it started. and Jamaica just call it partner and stuff like that. Where we bring the money together to help each other out, just as you pointed out. Um, where the lady realized your desire to go to college and make sure your mom get the money first. But my next question to you is, in what ways have you challenged the stereotypes or boxes people try to put you in? I know because you came from the inner city, and that is something that you hear a lot. Because growing up, you hear people who, if you go places and you put your address on certain application, no one will call you back because you are from the inner city. So, what box do they put you in? Um, are stereotypes that people put you in that you have to challenge. Especially in the earlier stages of your life.
So I don't really attain or subscribe to stereotype. I don't subscribe to stereotype because I know who I am and I know what I want to achieve and I believe in myself. So it doesn't matter what type of box they are trying to put on me, I will always show them this is me because nobody know who I am. Only I know who I am. And because I know I have greatness in me, certain stereotype I don't believe in or subscribe to. I just know that I have greatness in me and I can accomplish anything once I work hard. It might take you cross 5 years, it might take me 15. But I'm determined that I will get it and I must get it. And that's it for me. I don't subscribe to anything.
So that belief, when did you realize you had that belief, that desire, knowing that you have greatness in you, even though your environment didn't, kind of display that type of greatness?
So I went to a technical high school. The second high school I went to uh, St. Andrew Technical High School. Right, that's my second high school. So when I went to GC first, I've been doing uh, trades, or I've been doing, we'll say, we call it trade. Now they're saying now is can't remember the terms that they call it, but I was doing trade. I was doing electrical technology and building drawing, and so I was more related to trade. So when I went to GC Foster, everything was related to the human body. So I had the basic uh, biology, but I didn't go in depth in biology because the trades era is where was my thing. So I had to like at first I didn't understand what's going on because to my recollection, I thought that physical education was just throwing a ball and you play soccer or you run. I didn't know that there was more to it. So I had to relate it to electrical technology. And then you have this class that you call biomechanics. I had to relate biomechanics. I had to do a lot of transfer learning. So I'm looking at physics and biomechanics because biomechanics talks about the human's body in terms of moving and force. And then we also get at a sentence technical in physics or engineering science. Like a body at motion will continue until a greater force act on it. So now I had to take that information from electrical engineering or technology and place it on the unit and the human body. And when I could able to make that adjustment or transfer of knowledge, I said to myself, "You're very great. You're very smart. You're intelligent, in spite of what other individual will say about you." And then some individual will come to me and ask me, like they call me Kingston 13 because I'm from Lower Chisholm Avenue. So they will say, Kingston 13, how this go? And I would, can you explain this to me? And I would explain to them, and I'm like, this guy went to KC, this guy went to Alpha, This lady went to Alpha and she's asking me. So if they think I'm great, I guess I'm great. So sometimes when it comes to greatness or your gift, others will have to see it first before you see it. Because
And
I am in a picture frame and I cannot see what's going outside. But if you cross is looking at me, you can say, Mark, fix your tie to the left, fix your tie to the right, and then I will fix it. But once individuals believe in you, then you can see how great you are. Because sometimes you don't know. And sometimes some individuals won't tell you because they don't want you to succeed. But
correct.
when you have individuals that will say that you are great, so you sometimes you have to let individuals believe in you before you can believe in yourself.
And that's a really valid point, because at times, especially when you grow up in an environment where most of what you hear are the things that you're not good at. But although you knew that you had the ability and you didn't subscribe to what people say about you, but when others point out that you have the ability, you actually own it, and that is important. And that's one responsibility that we have, especially as Black men, to help others to believe, especially the younger generation who may not have the the example around them. Because sometimes, as you mentioned, we get to use the belief of others to help us to believe in ourselves. Because if I point out that you are great, you may not, as you mentioned, you may not realize that you are great. But because I say to you, even if you don't believe it in the moment, you're going to think about it. And that's what we can do for young individuals, especially the young ones who are coming behind us. Help them to believe. Because one thing I know for sure, as you mentioned, we all have greatness in us. Sometimes we just need someone to help us see the greatness that we have within. So I'm really glad that you pointed out and remind those who are here with us, especially the young ones who may listen to this later, that it's important that they know who they are despite what people have to say, and to believe that they can achieve despite the opinions of others. So, my next question to you is, what does thinking beyond limits look like in your everyday life?
So to be appearing to be insane. And let me repeat it, to be appearing to be insane to individuals who can't see the vision that I have.
Okay.
They can't see the vision to what I have. So to them, Mark have to be crazy. Because from where he's coming from to what he's trying to do presently, he has to be crazy. So oftentimes we always talk about discipline, resilience. I think in order for you to be successful, you have to appear to be crazy to some folks, even to yourself, and don't listen to the noise. You have to be appearing crazy to others who can see your vision because of my everyday limitation.
Yeah.
But again, I believe in myself despite of what people think about me.
I really like the phrase that you use, appear to be insane. And if you look at those individuals who have done great things, who have achieved extraordinary things, people look at them as crazy, because what they have the desire for, everyone around them may not. And sometimes when people cannot see what you see, they will think you are crazy to have that type of aspiration to achieve something that you have never, or may not even have the resources currently to pursue. But when you have that desire, when you have that drive, when you have that ambition, you can break barriers. And that's a great reminder. And that means, as individuals, we have to pursue what we have the passion for, regardless of the opinions of people, because people will always have an opinion. especially those who can't see what you see and want to achieve. I really like that phrase, appear to be insane. Go after that dream despite what people may think about you. So, my next question to you is, in what ways have you challenged the stereotypes? I think I asked that question already.
No, you didn't have.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, in what ways have you challenged the stereotypes or boxes people tried to put you in?
I'm trying not to be emotional, you know. I'm trying not to be emotional, you know, because the older I get, the more easy I cry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just emotional. But coming from the inner city, I be walking with some of my friends, because not all of my friends was church boys. You know, I hang with some of the roughest and the toughest. Don't tell my mom. But I did. But they know there are certain things they're not supposed to do around me. Or if I'm there, they won't do those things because of the respect and love that they have for me. And most of them, I know their mom. And it's easy for their mother to like me because I was a good boy. To adults, but when with my friends, that's in my peers, but I was still a good boy. So I don't subscribe to police will stop me on the road and they will say, you go over there, and they will search my friends, but they wouldn't search me. I didn't have anything on me, you know what I mean? I didn't have anything on me. But I don't subscribe that African American or males of African descent, that we are prone to violence and we are destined to be criminals. I don't subscribe to that.
Well, and glad that you bring up that point, and being that you talk about growing up in the inner city and around other young people, and you have seen where some of the young people, your peers, didn't do the right things, but you make the decision not to. Was it hard to make a different decision than your peers?
I had to make that decision, because my mother was a non-nonsense lady. Because she told me once, she said, listen, she told me once that, listen, I will cook your favorite dish and I will let you fall asleep and I will get some rope, tie you down to the bed, and I will call the police on you. Don't think for 1 second I won't. You're not going to take any guns in here with me. You're not going to go and do all these things that the others, kids going around doing in the neighborhood, because I will call the police on you.
So your
And
mom hold you accountable.
yes, as in America, they will say, my own mother was planning to snitch on me. I wasn't doing anything,
But she
but
reminds you.
she just letting me know, hey, just in case you have any plans, this is what I am going to do. So my mother drove fear into me. And at the later date, I had so much love for my mother and admiration for my mother. I didn't want to see my mother cry.
Correct.
I didn't want anybody to say anything to say, that is Pauline boy. Look at what Pauline boy is doing. I don't even have tattoo. I don't even bore my ears. At one time, I wanted to be a Rastafarian, but I thought my mother wouldn't have liked it, so I didn't. I have some Rastafarian belief, but I'm not Rastafarian, you know. And then I asked my mother when I was older. I said to her, I wanted to become a Rasta, but I think you wouldn't believe it, and you wouldn't
Like
approve
it.
it. And she laughed. She said to me in a Jamaican accent. She said, "My boy, Rasta man, and Rasta people are some of my best friends." And she laughed. But I didn't know, because
Well,
now we're having a conversation with Dr. Bowen. It would have been Rasta Dr. Bowen.
that's right. That's right. But you see, the respect you have for your mom really helped you to make the right decisions, because you didn't want her to be crying because of you, and you didn't want her to be in a position where people will be talking negatively about you, and then she will be embarrassed of your situation. So I think having a parent or parents who will hold you accountable. I think it's important, especially in today's society, with all the things that these young people are being exposed to. So I'm glad that you say that, and because that's an important part of, especially our young people journey. But I want to ask this next question: how has your definition of success evolved as you have grown and shed external expectations?
Because I am a product of my society, and my society is me, my community is me. At a younger age, living in Jamaica, I tie success to monetary goals. So the athlete was successful to me because they can buy the nice houses, the nice car, and the entertainers are successful to me based on my social economic background. Because if you never have $100 and somebody gave you 50, to you you're rich. So I tie success with monetary rewards. But to me, success is a progressive, noble ideal.
Okay.
Success is a progressive, noble ideal. And you can achieve that if you're providing goods and services. So if you're an educator and educating students, that's what you want to do, and you're producing results. To me, that's the definition, the embodiment of success.
And I really
Progressive ideal,
and
noble ideal.
I'm really glad that you pointed out, because a lot of us, that's what we are accustomed to. Money equal success. But as you stated, that if you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're making an impact and you are evolving, you are growing, that is success. So that's a very important reminder for individuals who may only be chasing the money, because sometimes you can get the money and then you realize that it's not really fulfilling. You want to do something else that fulfills you. Um, but a lot of people do associate success to money. But as you stated, over the years, you have shifted your focus from monetary gain as success to I don't remember exactly what you said, but
Progressive, noble ideal.
a progressive, noble ideal. You doing something that you are passionate about and making an impact where you find your passion lies and stuff like that. So that's a great way to look at it, and a lot of people will appreciate that, because we all, well, not say all, but most of us, that's what we grew up knowing. Money.
At one time I always wanted to have a BMW. You know, I always want to, being man, Sim, man, who have the keys to the member? I always want to have a BMW. And a good friend of mine that we went to St. Andrew Technical High School together. Um, he has he's Ronald Jackson. He has a restaurant, Jamaican restaurant. We went to St. Louis together because I wanted to get some time to come out of Jefferson City. I wanted, because I'm a city guy, so every now and then I've got to go to somewhere that looks like a city, New York, wherever, somewhere that look like a city. And he asked me, he asked me, "What is your dream car?" And I said to him, "A car that have four wheels." And he laughed. Before I would say a Bimmer, Simmer, but now I say a car with four wheels. That's my dream car.
Well, as as you say, your mindset shift over time. That we have these desire earlier because of what we see or hear around us, and maybe we see having something like that as success, and not realizing that you can have a car, just any car, and it can take you to where you want to be. So my next question to you: was there ever a time you felt pressure to shrink your dreams? What made you expand them again?
So during my initial attempt to enroll in the doctorate program, the leadership in higher education, I enrolled at an institution. And my first instructor, she told me that I was not doctor, doctoral student material, and I was lazy. And I withdrew from that program. I cried, I cried. And at that time, Dr. Alfred was still around, so I told him, and he understand what I was going through, and he said, "You're going to be all right." So what I did, I worked on my writing skill, and my fraternity brother Ronald Nelson, he used to say, "Okay, find 5 words." No, I think he says it's going to be easy with me. 2 words, and every week I should write him a sentence using those 2 new words. And after that, I had the courage to, by for Dr. Ricardo Tat came to me and told me that there was a program at Delaware State. It was online, but it was interactive, because the first program was online, but it wasn't interactive. And because I am a visual learner, it works for me. So that experience led me to know to choose environment where I will be successful and able to meet my goal, because that program did work for me.
I've heard a lot of great points in what you shared, from having the experience that didn't work, but you didn't give up. But also, I realized by you sharing, that experience, that journey, for you to get into Delaware State, when you shared about Mr. Nelson and how he challenged you, you show or displayed humility. Just listening to you, because some of us would not want, say, what, somebody's going to challenge me to write sentence to him or her, and I'm not going to do that. But because of your humility, because you were humble, and that is something that, when it comes to us becoming the best that we can be, we have to be humble to an extent where we allow ourselves to be teachable and coachable and mentored, so we can become who we want to be. So I wanted to point it out because, a lot of times we meet individuals on our journey who can be helpful to us. But because we have to be humble or humble ourselves, we miss the opportunity to become the best version of ourselves. So I'm really glad that you pointed out And congratulations on not giving up on that dream you have, and eventually, started the program and graduated from the program. So, my next question to you: how do you stay grounded in your identity while still pushing yourself to evolve?
You can only be true to yourself. Because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know who you are, any road will get you there. But I believe to some believe in or subscribe to or have the conviction of certain tenet. I believe in the love of God, the love of family, the love of myself, the respect of others, and the respect of myself. And I hold these tenets close to my heart. And these are the things that keep Mark Bowen grounded. You have to believe in something or someone.
And those are important, family, God, and respect for self, and respect for others. Because especially respecting for self, it guides you on the things that you do. Because whatever you do, um, is going to live with you. And can you live with the things that you choose to do? And having respect, and loving family, that also will kind of guide the things that you do as well. And, having God as the center, it also guide the type of person that you show up as each day as an individual. So those are great reminders. And especially when we're talking about being grounded. As you mentioned, we have to believe in something, but, we also have to respect ourselves. So I thought you were going to say something else pertaining to what you have said earlier, but let me jump into the next question. But I wanted to hear that quote that you have shared, because I think it's a good reminder to all of us. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. I think that's what you had said,
Yes,
and I
sir.
think
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it's important that we know where we're going, because we may end up somewhere. We're going to end up somewhere, but it may not be where we want to be. So it's important that we know where we want to go, and despite knowing where you want to go or not, there will be challenge. But when it will help you to get through the challenges that we sometimes experience on our journey. So, being that you stay grounded, with the things that you hold close to you. So, what internal narrative did you have to rewrite to fully embrace your greatness?
So there's a saying in Jamaica, and I'm going to try to explain it in English
Okay.
because we speak English,
Yeah.
but we speak broken English. Also, the English people speak Cockney. That's broken English. If you want to hear proper English, like hello, you have to listen to the BBC.
Okay.
You know, I know I'm sometimes comical, but
No, no.
it's me. I can't do anything else. It's got the
You
me
have to
will
be
always
yourself.
come out.
Yeah.
So there's a saying in Jamaica that what goes wrong in the morning cannot change in the evening. But Miss Pauline White, my mother, taught me another saying, and it goes like this: it is never too late for a shower of rain. Because my
Wow.
mother came from St. Elizabeth, deep St. Elizabeth, rural, deep rural. And because I am of that conviction, I am the master of my fate and I am the captain of my soul because it's never too late. And if you can, no matter how deep you go, no matter how life goes or rough life goes, and I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, this too will pass.
Correct.
It's never too late. It's
You
never too
know,
late for a shower of rain.
and that's a great reminder because, as you said, the first thing that you have learned that what goes wrong in the morning will not change in the evening. But as your mom reminded you, that it's never too late for a shower of rain. So, as you mentioned, that despite the challenges, the mistakes, the shortcomings, if I decide today that I'm going to do something differently, that my life can change, the greater it can be because of what I choose, then things will change for me. And that's a great reminder because a lot of people, after they make mistakes, they think their life is over, but it's not over if they're willing to take the next step in the direction that will help them to become who they want to be. As you stated, that it's never too late for a shower of rain. You can be great starting today if you decide to do something differently from what you have done before. And thanks for that reminder because a lot of people do sometimes think they have to give up on what they want because they don't get it when they think they should have. So that's important and that's a great reminder. So, my next question um, to you, who, I know you mentioned your mom and I know you mentioned some other people that you will have encounter on your journey, but who or what helped you realize that you are more than what society tells you? I know you bring your mom's name in a lot and how she planted some good seeds in your mind and help you to believe. But if it's just your mom or any others who have helped you to realize that you are more than what society tells you.
So one of the former vice principal of GC's Foster is deceased now, Mr. Edward Murray. He will see me and say, Kingston 13. Or he will call me Papi boy. That's Victor, Victor Thomas, the head coach of Lincoln University. But he was the first one, and as the years goes by, depends on what mood he's in, he used to call me Dr. Bowen.
Wow.
I'm like, Dr. Bowen? I'm like, I said, why are you calling me Dr. Bowen? He said, sound good with your name. Let me say it again, Dr. Bowen, and get used to it because I'm going to call you that.
Wow.
Come on, Mr. Bowen. Call me Kingston 13. Call me Papi Boy. No, you're beyond that now. You're still Papi Boy, and you're still from Kingston 13. But I choose to call you Dr. Bowen. Even before I was thinking about pursuing a doctorate.
Wow.
Because my mentor that used to help me when I was in high school, Mr. Courtney Ellis, he told me once when I was still in high school, he told me once, he said to me, he was a pharmacist and he wanted to become a doctor, but because of the financial issues, he settled to be a pharmacist. And he called me, Jerry, if you even get a doctorate in picking up stone, people will have to respect you. So, and then when it comes to Mr. Murray, it was more different because I will see him when I get up because I lived on campus, and I will see him, and sometimes I'm trying to that he, Dr. Bowen. I'm like, come on, Mr. Bowen, and then he did something. He says something. People always say something. He said to me one time in class. That wasn't class, was dismissed, and some of us was just hanging out, in front of his office. And he said to me, "See this young man here, Kingston 13. I will give him recommendation to go to any school to teach because he will not let me down. I believe in him." Like, so when it was time for me to start job searching, I went to him and he did give me a recommendation to get a job. And I did get the job at Denham Town Primary. Now it's Edward Searga
Primary.
Primary School. But at the time it was Denham Town. And when he did that, I was like, hmm, I think I'm more than what people say about me. Because Mr. Bowen, Mr. Murray called me Dr. Bowen. He also gave me a recommendation. And he said that in my first year, and now that I'm graduating, he still gave me the recommendation. So that touched me in a different way. I'm like, nah, mm-mm. I'm more than what these people says about me. I'm better than that. I'm Dr. Bowen.
That's right. And just listening to you, and just the sentiment to Mr. Murray, rest in peace. I can tell you, almost everyone who walked through those gates will have something positive to say about Mr. Murray. I have a long list of things that I could say, but I will say, he's one of um, he's just a pillar of GC Foster College. Because if you go there and you are in need, he will find a way to make sure that need is met, especially when you show that you really want to be there. That is for sure. And I can tell you, almost maybe everybody that have been to GC Foster and have experienced Mr. Murray will have something positive to say. But you have shared, a few things that I just want to highlight. And we know are responsible um, for doing the same. As you point out, before you even be thinking about becoming Dr. Bowen, Mr. Murray said, "You are Dr. Bowen." That's how powerful our words can be. And even though you didn't have that as a desire then, it stays with you until you become. So you can talk about it today. So we can speak life into individuals. I remember even at Lincoln, Dr. Ross said it to me. And when he said it to me, I didn't believe him. When I was doing my master's, I turned in a master's paper and he said it to me, and I didn't believe him. So, but, over time, you believe those things. Or once you start the journey, it get back to you and you realize that, man, somebody said it to me. So we now have a responsibility to speak life into those we encounter, because that will be the seed that can help them to become who they may not be thinking about becoming as black men. And I say this, we are responsible to speak life into each other, speak life into ourselves, and speak life into those who we encounter on the journey, because that's part of our time here, to be an impact, to help others to be what they can be. Because for most of us, where we are right now, it's because someone speak life into us. Someone helped us to believe when we didn't believe. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, because that's important. And we have to realize how powerful our words can be. So my next question to you: how do you balance honoring your past while pursuing a future that defies expectations? And let me say this, you have defy expectations. Being that you grew up in a city, and you have achieved even beyond what you believe, you may have thought then you can achieve. So, how do you balance honoring your past while pursuing a future that defies expectations?
so so I draw from my past experience and challenges and things that I have encountered, and I always remind remain true to my origin. And based on the motivation and the experience that that I took from the past, I use them to transcend any obstacle that I am faced in the present or I will face in the future. And I have power. I know I have the power to conquer what situation because of the past experience. Because everything have a pattern. If you look at the trees out there, there is a pattern. If you're looking at the ants that walking, they walk in a pattern. So based on my experience of the past, I can see certain patterns and I can make the adjustment. Sometime I might make the wrong choice, but I can always call somebody and explain the situation. So based on my past experience, I use those stuff to move me forward.
So you said if you have overcome a challenge before, it means you have it within you to overcome the present challenge. And I also believe that's a really important reminder because a lot of times people are in situations currently and they forgot that they have overcome even more challenging situations than what they're dealing with currently. And sometimes that's a reminder we all need to push forward. And but as you stated that you keep your past in your heart, help not only to help you to be grounded, but to remind you that no matter what you're dealing with today, you have it in you to push forward, and life will happen. And we have to sometimes reflect on those things that we have experienced and know within ourselves that we can push past what we are dealing with currently. But before we get to the end, we are getting close to the top of the hour. So I'm going to I have maybe a few more questions, but I'll maybe only able to ask one or two more questions. So I want to ask this question: how do you empower other Black men to challenge limitations placed on them?
Can you repeat the question again for me, please?
How do you empower other Black men to challenge limitations placed on them?
So I share my academic challenges that I have experienced as a child and my social economic background with them. And when I share these experience, I let them know that listen, with a growing mindset, discipline, and hard work, they will achieve. Not maybe achieve, they will achieve.
So, what about those who find it hard to go through the process because hard work and discipline is a process?
So it's depend on the relationship I have with the individual.
Okay,
Some individuals you have to carry them,
okay,
but you're carrying them, but you're not. You are still allowing them to walk. Most of the load is on you. They are in rehabilitation format. So most of the load is on you, but eventually, being a coach, you will put some of the weight on them
I see.
until they're able to walk on their own. And I'm saying it's depending on the type of relationship because sometimes individual did carry me,
Okay,
but they know that I want it. and I didn't leave it the weight on them. Even if it was two step they carried me, they did. Because some of us have this notion, is I. Nobody helped me, I was this. Some of us did it on our own, but most of us did not.
Correct. So it's good to extend a hand to those who may be going through their own challenges and maybe have doubts in their own capabilities until they are able to, find that strength within themselves or to believe that they can. But go ahead.
So there's a saying that in my fraternity, he's not heavy, he's my brother. You
Oh,
don't have to be a member of Alpha Phi Alpha for me to carry you if I need to. You're
man, that
not heavy, you're a black man that need help, and I
man,
will help you.
man, that is really powerful right there. That is really powerful. You are my brother, so you are not heavy.
Yeah,
That is really profound.
he's not heavy, he's my brother.
Man, that, and we're going to close on that note. And as black men, our brothers need us at times, and it's okay to, to give
And
our
one more thing,
time.
one more thing before you wrap up, and I'm going to say this before you wrap up. It would be very selfish of me not to help others. Because Victor Poppy Thomas did help me. Dr. Cheney helped me.
Yeah,
Chia Shepherd helped me. And because, and the list is so long, the list is so long. And because of individuals that helped me, I will continue to provide opportunities for young black men by mentoring them, and as African Americans say, put them on.
that's right. Man, man, and that's a really profound statement. And I too know, Poppy, Mr. Thomas, and we can talk forever, because a lot of us are here because of Mr. Victor Thomas, and we just have to be grateful. And as you mentioned, Dr. Cheney. When I met Dr. Cheney, I remember he said to me, man, you can do as much as you believe you can. And this was the first time I saw him. And, when I went and spoke to him, he reminded me, that, whatever you desire to pursue, you can. And he's just a great person,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
I'd like to cut you again, and I'm going to let you do your program, do your stuff.
Uh,
But I remember when I get the scholarship to go to Cuba, I didn't want to go. And coach told me, Victor Thomas said to me, go to Cuba. You want to be a good physical education like Mr. Eubanks? Go to Cuba. I'm like, coach, I don't want to go to Cuba. Why Cuba? And I did go. And I went for, and I got the degree for free. And I will forever grateful to the Cuban country and the Cuban individuals because they opened their doors, they opened their homes for me. And for that, I'll be ever grateful. And that changed my life.
Man, and that's great. And again, as we are on the top of the hour, Dr. Bowen, it is great, to have you here to share not only your journey, but the lessons and experiences that you have gained throughout your life, and your commitment to helping the next generation. And I will close with this, as you say, man, you are my brother. You are not heavy. So I'm here to give the support and the strength that is needed to press forward. But where can the listeners connect with you, on what platform, before we close out?
I'm basically on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. I need to do better. I'm aspiring to be like you, but I'm nowhere there yet. But if it's Facebook, you know, LinkedIn, that's where I am presently. you know.
Oh man, that's great. For the listeners who are here with us, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to the Black Male Impact. And the Black Male Impact is where positive changes are inspired. So thanks again. And our goal is to bring individuals here who we believe will share something of value that we all can benefit from as we press forward on our journey. Thank you for being here and looking forward to our next conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.